trying not to speak, pretend that I'm dreaming. I smell your breath, not listening, but I still hear you screaming. Going under.
Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Also, if you are new, welcome. Today is an exciting one because not only are we cleaning up our house, but we are also working at Mom and Dad's house. They actually took a really nice trip to the Keys, and I figured since Bobby and I were going over there twice a day to help out with the animals, that as I was over there, I would take on small projects each time and get their house just a little bit more organized and decluttered and take you guys along with. So I'm starting out at our house because obviously I still had to maintain our house as well. But yeah, we're going to be surprising them with little makeovers throughout the house during this week that they were gone.
He's not like you, don't want him to. He's more like the river, growing stronger. When we're alone, there's no you in the picture. Paint by numbers isn't how I wanted to. You see, I know this, but the last days in real life I've noticed losing focus, breaking up from our life as we know it. If someone had told me that I will take off and find something greener than gold.
Also, don't mind me sounding out of breath off and on. I'm definitely at that point where I'm just out of breath over practically everything, including just talking sometimes. I did, though, this past week. So Monday, I had an ultrasound. We've been doing growth scans just with me having gestational diabetes. Luckily, gestational's been fine. My numbers have been beautiful without any medication, which I love. Luckily, with all of my kids, I've had GD. And Freya is the only one that I ever had to actually be put on medication for my GD. And so far this time along, same situation, numbers are still good, but we've still been doing growth scans. So Tuesday I officially hit 33 weeks, and so Monday was literally right before my 33-week deadline. And they are estimating baby being right around 5.6 pounds right now. Now I know that can be off because it was definitely off with Freya. They expected her to be a lot bigger than she was, but it still has me a little nervous. The other thing I've been dealing with right now is so much pelvic pressure. This baby is sitting so low that there are times that it literally hurts to walk. I had my regular doctor's appointment on Wednesday, and the doctor, as he's measuring right away, he's like, "Ooh, this baby's low." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know." I can feel it. I know how low this baby is. So yeah, if you hear me out of breath or just sounding off a little bit, I think we are just to that point in pregnancy where this is how it's going to be from now on. I will say it's crazy though. I was telling Bobby, I'm like, it's crazy to think because we're going into September, it's almost September. And at this point, I could pretty much say baby's coming this week or this month or early next month. And that to me is absolutely insane to think, once September hits, baby could be coming this month. Now, a lot of people are like, "Oh, why are you saying it? It's still so early, blah, 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 blah." So all my kids except Freya was due in September. Her due date was September. Obviously, she was born August 24th, so she was early. But Xander and Bjorn were also supposed to be October babies. Xander was actually due at the end of October. He was very, very early. And Bjorn was due at the beginning of October. So we will see if I actually have an October baby this time around, or if this little one decides to come in September as well. The only thing I want, though, is I would really like this baby not to come on the 21st or the 25th, because that is Xander and Bjorn's birthdays, and as long as they get their own day, I'm good with it. So cross my fingers that at least baby holds on and doesn't come one of those 2 days. But yeah, so far everything's looking pretty good. I will say the only thing that had me thinking is when I went to my doctor's appointment this week, normally with my blood pressure, because I also deal with, the reason Xander was so early was because of preeclampsia, and the reason Freya was induced at 37 weeks was because of preeclampsia. So this past doctor's appointment, normally when they take my blood pressure, like, okay, good, all good, blah, blah, blah. And this time she said, oh, that's not too bad. So that makes me think that my blood pressure has gone up slightly. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. And who knows? This one may come on the scheduled C-section in October, which would put me at 39 weeks. Or I'm wondering if we're going to be closer to that 37 weeks if my blood pressure doesn't play nicely. It's crazy because it's like, doesn't matter how many kids you have, this being my fourth, and you think you got everything figured out. That I have learned that having everything figured out is knowing you don't have everything figured out, and it's just going to happen the way that it happens. That is where we are at with this. So yeah, I'm making sure everything is prepped. Freezer meals. I actually was also just telling Bobby today, I'm like, I need to pack my hospital bag just so that it's ready. Like, just have it in the nursery. That way, for whatever reason, it's ready. I would rather be over-prepared than under-prepared. Luckily, if you are pregnant right now and this is your first-time baby, and don't let me make you nervous about going into labor early or being induced early and not being ready. I promise you that the hospital has everything you need. Absolutely everything. That is part of the reason I don't stress too much about hospital bags, is when I had Xander, I didn't have anything ready. I was 34 weeks and was not expecting to be told, yeah, don't go home, go up to labor and delivery. You're having this baby today. So just know, even if you're not ready, the hospital always has everything you need and you'll be just fine. But I am planning ahead just because there's certain things that are nice to have in the hospital, but aren't 100% necessary. Oh, so this is actually now at Mom and Dad's house. So when I went over there, so we were taking care of the birds, the cats, the dogs, everything. And I kind of just looked around their house and was like, okay, what areas could I spend an hour on today? Because I knew I would go in the morning, let the dogs out, feed all the animals, but then I would let the dogs like run around and play and stuff for a good like hour or so before leaving. And like I said, we went twice a day. That way they were able to go in and out. And I was just kind of grabbing different areas that I figured I could just make look a little bit nicer. Now, the nice thing about this is often when you see these like decluttering and organizing, there's all this money spent for these organization pieces. And that was not the situation here. We are working with what we have. This was a very like unplanned. I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I was just like, you know what? I'm here. Let's, one, kill some time. And two, I know Mom and Dad would appreciate it. But kind of showing that sometimes you don't have to go out and buy all the things. Sometimes just taking everything out, really evaluating what you have. Sometimes stuff just gets messy and it just needs to be reorganized, and it can make the biggest difference. And I feel like these projects really show that. I didn't buy anything. I decluttered a little, but not a ton, because my mom wasn't home. Mom didn't even know I was doing this. So the only stuff I decluttered was like obvious trash or obvious things that were expired and things like that I knew weren't going to be safe to use anymore. Because even if something was expired and I was questioning it, I didn't get rid of it. I wasn't going to take that decision on myself. But yeah, sometimes it's just the process of taking everything out, reevaluating your space and reorganizing it, and it can make the biggest difference in the world. It also helps sometimes just getting a fresh perspective on the space. I know often I will have my mom come over and look at something and be like, okay, I'm just not 100% sure what to do here. Like, what are your thoughts? And it's just getting those fresh eyes. When you look at something every single day, sometimes it can be a lot harder to figure out what you want or how it's going to work. So me coming in and doing these spaces in their house, I think really helps, because I'm sure for my mom, she was looking at this space every single day, and it just gets to a point where it's like, I don't know, like I don't know what to do. And there's definitely like ideas I had while doing this that I'm like, oh, this would make it maybe a little bit nicer or easier to use, but that would be a financial thing of spending money to do it. And I love showing that there are free options. Like, you do not need to go out and buy all the home edit stuff from Target and Walmart, or jump on Amazon or the dollar store or whatever. You can work with what you have, and it'll still make a very impactful difference in your house.
With you by my side, if you're in, meet me here tonight. Be brave and come along, I'll be your ride. Promise we don't need no brake lights. We can travel the world, so just say yes. Choose to do whatever comes next. This or that, getting drunk on whiskey on a Tuesday night.
One thing with working with this cabinet is, as you can see, it was a lot of like medical type stuff in here. So it's the Band-Aids and the hydrogen peroxide, and we keep an extra inhaler and EpiPen and stuff like that for Bjorn at my parents' house. Just makes sense that if we're at their house that they have it on hand just in case. But my mom is also very much like me, where we are not against modern medicine by any means, like not against modern medicine, but we are also very much into holistic medicine. So it's funny because a lot of the stuff you see in here is like that normal medicine you expect to see in a medicine cabinet, but then you have the Sovereign Silver and different things like that, because yeah, we are very much a modern medicine is good thing. It is. But we will always try the honey and dandelion root and stuff like that before antibiotics and other things. So she had a very big variety of stuff in this cabinet that I was just trying to organize by category as best as possible.
Just be brave and come along. I wanna do it all. This or that. Getting drunk on whiskey.
So as you can see, it's still a lot of stuff in here, but I definitely feel like it made more sense when I was done. The next space I noticed was under their kitchen sink. So I just wanted to go in here. Nice thing is, Mom also did have a good amount of nice things that I could work with in these spaces. So a lot of it was just literally reorganizing it, like using what she had, cleaning it out, because I think we all forget sometimes that even if you have an organized space, sometimes taking everything out and just giving it all a really good wipe down makes a huge difference. And then just putting it back again neatly and organized, and just figuring out how it's going to fit best. I feel like under kitchen sinks are one of those areas that have to be done all the time, especially like at my house, because I'll have like those cleaning supplies that I use on the daily, and that's what I usually want in the cabinets, but stuff always accumulates underneath there. Often I'll get things that I don't use as often that end up in here. But like I said, just taking it all out, wiped out all the containers so everything was nice and clean, and then just putting them in a more organized and way that makes sense. That way when you look in here, it's just very appealing. It is also a lot easier to keep an area clean, I feel like, when it does look nice. So it's taking that time to organize it, even though sometimes can feel very monotonous and not worth it, I feel like it does make a difference in the long run for keeping places staying nice. So those dishwasher pods, I just took them out of the container. Often, the other thing you can do, especially if you're working with like pantries and refrigerators, is decanting your stuff and getting rid of the boxes often saves you so much more space. So once again, not a ton done in here, nothing bought, but it looks so much better. I did notice there was some stuff on the cabinet, so I did want to quickly wipe this down also, but I feel like this is very common for the cabinets right by the sink. I know my cabinets are always dirty because you get that water that like spills when you're washing dishes and stuff like that. So I just wanted to quickly wipe that down. And then the last spot I wanted to work on today in this kitchen area was the silverware drawer. Silverware drawer really wasn't that bad. It was more of just a needing to be cleaned out. It's funny because silver drawers or utensil drawers, I'm always like, how do they get so dirty? Like, we are taking clean dishes usually from the dishwasher or just washed and putting them in here, but there's always so many crumbs in them. So many. So I didn't do a ton here. Did a little bit of organizing of some of the stuff. There are some garbage and stuff from packets from restaurants and stuff like that that I knew I could get rid of and condense, but biggest thing was just giving it a quick clean out and then a very simple organization, and it makes a huge difference.
Hours from dawn as I'm driving at night, waiting to get somewhere. What can go wrong when we say it outright? I really wish you were here. People seem to know just where they're heading, while you and I just feel like we're pretending. I can't do it on my own when I'm this far away from home. Won't you tell me something good?
So I was pretty happy with this, considering, like I said, it was about an hour. It may have been around 2. I wasn't really timing myself to be able to get all that done on that day. I was very, very happy. But moving on to another day, more stuff to get done. I knew I wanted to wash the boys' bedding, so that was my goal on this day. And when I go into the boys' room, like, obviously, the kids' rooms are their responsibility. That has always been my thing. But I always say, like, I'm that in-between mom of, I believe my kids should take care of their own room. However, I also think that sometimes going in there and getting a good mommy clean isn't a bad thing. So whenever I go in to either wash windows, do a really thorough dusting, strip their beds, I will do a quick tidy up of their entire room. I figure I'm in here anyway, I might as well get it done. And my favorite thing to do is lift up as much as I can to send the robot vacuum in here, because oh my goodness, I do not know how these children get so many crumbs on their floor at all times. It's absolutely insane, but there's always crumbs everywhere. Crumbs, sand, all the things. So strip their beds, lift up their computer chairs onto their beds. That way I knew I could send that vacuum in here and let it do the work that it needed to do as well. It was funny though, because while my parents were out of town, once they got back in town and they saw the little bit of work they did that we had done, my mom's like, you realize when we go out of town, you do not need to do projects in our house. Because it's just kind of always been a thing. The nice thing is with living so close to mom and dad is if they are out of town, we go and take care of their animals. And then when we're out of town, so when we go up to Wisconsin to visit family and things like that, they will come over and take care of our animals. So it actually works out really, really well. But I'm the type that, like, I can't just sit still. Like, if I'm going to go sit at your house for 2 hours or an hour, I'm probably going to find something to do. If it's cleaning or whatever it is, I will most likely find some sort of project. Mom and Dad are actually going up to Wisconsin coming up soon again. So like I said, they were just in the Keys, which was their like first real vacation in, I don't know, I think they said like 20 years or something, where it was just the two of them, and it was more than like a one night thing. It was actually like a week of just the two of them. They actually just recently, I know I mentioned this in videos past, but I don't know if everyone knew, they just recently sold their coffee shop that they opened 14 years ago. They were like, okay, that chapter, we're gonna close that chapter. It's time for us just to like live more of an actual retired life. But because they've had that coffee shop for so many years, before that it was us kids home and everything, they hadn't gone on vacation, just the two of them, in so long. So I know they really appreciated that week of just the two of them. I can only imagine how nice that had to have felt. But now they're going up to Wisconsin to see our family up there and everything. And I'm already thinking of like, oh, what can I get done at Mom and Dad's house? Because we're going to be over there anyway, taking care of the animals. So I'm sure I'm going to find something that I can kill some time doing.
So sick of love. I'm tired of always see the better in people or the things that matter. But I never could have thought the dagger in my bag, it was you.
So the kids' bathroom is also usually the kids' responsibility. I come in here about once a week and give it a really good wipe down. But usually the kids are responsible. That's why I like keeping the Lysol wipes, especially in their bathroom. I feel like that's a really easy way to be like, hey, just go grab the wipes, wipe down the toilet, wipe down the counters, do all of that. I'm not sure what happened that the curtain for the shower was on the ground, but I'm glad I went in there because I'm like, okay, put this back up. But I do like coming in here, like I said, about once a week just to give it a really thorough wipe down. Just, I know there's probably certain areas they don't even think about. Like if I'm wiping around the toilet, I'm wiping the floors, the walls, everything, because we all know that that stuff splatters all over the place in kids' bathrooms. And let's be honest, some adult bathrooms as well. I am very lucky that my husband is not messy like that. But I have definitely seen and heard horror stories. So I get it. But yeah, their rooms, honestly, this whole side of the house. So it's like this hallway area. You have the boys' bedroom to the left, Freya's bedroom to the right, their shared bathroom. This whole area is usually like their zone. They make sure it stays cleaned and organized. And then once a week, once every other week, I come through and just do a little bit of a mommy cleanup. All right, so another day at Mom and Dad's house. Just let the dogs out, fed them, fed the cats, checked the birds. Now I'm going to clean their linen closet, but I want to show you guys, they have like one of the coolest linen closets. They used to have the weird tri-fold doors like our house. And now they have this that they put in a while ago. So this is their linen closet. Not too bad. So we're just gonna go around and tidy it up. It's not too bad. I love this linen closet. It is so clever to me, the way that they were able to get someone to come in and build that bookshelf and just make it look so nice. But in here, once again, I wasn't really doing too much. I was just reorganizing. I didn't really get rid of anything, just going through. And sometimes I'm also one of those people, and you let me know in the comments, like, I believe there is a right and a wrong way to fold towels. I feel like they just look better folded a different way. So yes, I did go in and refold all their towels to what I consider the correct way of folding towels. But I also wanted to organize, my mom has a ton of flip-flops. You're going to see that here in a second. But I loved her little way of organizing it. I have never seen this, but this is genius. So she had this tension rod at the bottom that had obviously fallen. So I had tightened it so that hopefully the weight of the shoes don't make it fall again. But she had old wire hangers that she had bent so that each pair of shoes could be hung and like visually seeing what they are in their pairs. Like, so smart. I'm sure there's probably similar things you could buy on Amazon. Yeah, this is when it fell again. That's when I realized, I'm like, okay, we have to extend this more so it has an even tighter grip to it. But I'm sure there's like something similar that you can find on Amazon to do this. But the idea that she had it with just these wire hangers, I'm like, this is so smart, because how often are, especially if you have a ton of flip-flops, are they just kind of thrown about and they are all different, but they kind of look the same, so they get all like confuzzled with each other. I don't know. I just thought that was the coolest thing and was really nice to even share with you guys, because I'm like, I would have never thought about that. Like, I usually just, well, you guys know me. I don't have a ton of shoes in the first place. I have a very basic wardrobe and shoes and whatnot. But I would have just like thrown them in there and not even thought of doing something like that. So absolutely love that idea. So I also love doing stuff like this because I hate buying gifts for adults, and it is specifically to adults. Love buying gifts for kids. Kids always get so excited and they've always got things on their lists that they want and stuff like that. But adults, it can be very, very difficult, because as we get older, like, we buy what we want. Rarely is it like, ooh, I really want this. This is on my list, whatever. But one thing you can always give people is gifting them your time and gifting them experiences or whatever you're good at. And for me, I feel like I'm pretty good at cleaning and organizing. So Bobby and I are both very much alike, where when we go up to Wisconsin or if my parents are out of town, like, I really enjoy doing stuff like this because it's a gift I can give that I know they're really, really going to appreciate, compared to buying something that they may or may not actually need. We were kids that didn't know, but we grew to solid gold. Not a crazy big difference, but sometimes just rearranging and refolding makes a big difference. Just having just like space makes things now feel so much less cluttered, when really didn't do that much. Just redid her flip-flops down here. She already had all the stuff. It just obviously one of those things of, and we all do it, where she probably got home and kicked off her flip-flops into there. But now they're all nice and organized. You can see absolutely everything that's in here. And then after I was done with that, I still had some time to kill. I didn't want to put all the animals away right away. I still wanted to let them just kind of run around and play. So I figured there is nothing better than getting home from a trip. And the house was pretty clean. Mom had cleaned it a good amount before leaving anyway. But to come home and have the smell of a freshly cleaned house, to me, is always like the best thing in the world. So I figured I'm just going to work on the main area, which to me is always going to be the kitchen. Give everything a really good wipe down. Deal with the floors, because the floors, even though they had them cleaned before they left, the animals are still out and we were still coming over and doing stuff at their house. So I figured I would go around and just give everything a really good just tidy up. That way when they walked in, they just had that like instant feel of cleanliness in the house.
I said the last drink was the last drink. You make it hard to leave. We're telling secrets in the dark while drinking whiskey neat. I would fall in a second if you let me, 'cause you're all that I want. Could you let me in? The last drink was the last drink, but I don't wanna leave. I wanna get closer. Don't want this night to be over.
It's also always really nice when I go over and work in Mom's house, because she's got a lot of the same things that I have, or even like the wet dry vacuum. People always ask like what I do, because part of my job here on YouTube is reviewing products so that you guys can get a honest review of something and know if it's good, not good, all the things. But needless to say, I don't need a million robot vacuums and a million wet dry vacuums and all these things. So usually what I will do is I will keep the newest one and gift the other ones to friends and family and stuff like that. So it's really nice, because I knew I could go over to Mom and Dad's house and they had this wet dry vacuum that I'd give them that works amazing and make my job a little bit easier. You can see Fiona in the background trying to figure out what I am doing. She's so cute. And then Jasmine is actually Minnie's sister. So we also had the kids get together, kids meaning dogs, on one of those days.
If it's only for tonight, let's make it count. I love it how you talk.
Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would love if you would like, share this video with a friend. That always really helps out my channel. Comment and subscribe if you're new. But I'll see you next time. Bye.